So we're gonna get started. We're gonna get started. So thank you guys for joining tonight. We just went live into the Facebook group and pinged everyone else to get on now to join the webinar. And tonight we are talking about how to conquer and survive Carnival. And today we have some amazing people on our panel. And it was so funny when we were doing our prep call. I think we were on for like at least 2 hours, and I left the call. I came back, they were still on, and everyone is super, super excited to talk about Carnival today. So up in the panel, let's talk about who our panelists are. First, I'm gonna round off to Danny Rivers Mitchell. Danny is a travel and tourism industry expert. She's also the founder and CEO of Black Girls Travel 2, which is a boutique premier travel agency that curates intimate and immersive global travel experiences for women of color. Danny actually has a strong relationship with the Barbados tourism. And when I started following Danny, probably like 7-8 years ago, I remember she's always been doing an amazing trip to Cropover. So I'm super excited for her to share that trip to Cropover as well as her other things that she's getting into. Second on our panel, I'd like to introduce you to Rasheed Dennis. He's a world traveler, Carnival aficionado. He's been to so many carnivals I can't name, but he's going to be here to tell you one of his favorite carnivals. Rasheed brings a unique perspective to the conversation because he's been viewing and experiencing multiple different carnivals from all over the world and actually participating in them. So he also works for Up in the Air Life as a director, and he curates a lot of our different trips, specifically the Brazil trip. So we're super excited to also hear his perspective. Brought to you today is also on the panel is Carl Napoleon. Carl, very close and personal friend of mine. He actually came on one of the first Up in the Air Life trip when we were in Yacht Week. So if you've seen the promo photos, you've seen Carl. Carl has his own company, travel company as well, and he's best known for partying and traveling and festival chasing. Carl is in love with travel and culture. He's the founder of Carnival Jumpers, which is a destination management company focused on introducing carnival culture from each of the Caribbean countries to the members and followers. His goal is to continue to introduce Carnival and what it has to offer to his guests and to fully engage in the different Caribbean cultures. So thank you, Carl. And last but not least is Juve Mike. I know many of you may have seen him in different videos. If you've watched different videos about winding on Carnival, Mike is also the founder of activeallyship.org, which is facilitating seminars on active allyship, fighting institutional racism and beating against the change agents. Mike was also born in the US, living in Antigua, and
Anguilla.
Sorry, Antigua. Anguilla. He's played mass for over 3 decades. He's also been accountable media host, photographer, blogger, and he's just a pure carnival junkie, having been to more than 30 carnivals worldwide. So, welcome.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you. So, as we get started today, if you guys have any questions, like feel free to just pop in over in the chat and type your question. We'll definitely be sure to interject with your questions as we get going. So before we get started, what I wanted to talk about first was, let's start with Danny. Danny, can you talk to us a little bit about I guess I'm going to go around and talk about the history of Carnival for each of you, because I know a lot of people who are watching, they may not even know, like they've seen Carnival, but they don't really know like what the history is. So let's talk about what is like the background history of Carnival.
So when I first started attending Carnival in Barbados, Cropover to be exact, it was probably back in 2013. And so when I first went, I had no idea what the history was. But I will tell you, I was liberated after the experience. And so the additional years that I attended, I started to inquire more and more what was the significance of Cropover. And so early accounts go all the way back to the late 1780s and early 1790s via slave owners' ledgers and diaries that they would allow some of their enslaved people to have Cropover, if you will, as a celebration of bountiful crops Barbados at one time was a large producer of sugar, and so they would reward them. Now, throughout the years, it kind of slowed down a little bit because they were afraid that it will build some form of camaraderie between the enslaved people, and that there will be some type of rebellion. And so what we know today as Carnival in Barbados, it moves about the island, but back in the day, it was very stationary, like at the actual plantation. It kind of dwindled off, and it revived itself back in the early 1970s. And so it evolved into something totally different today. So that's essentially the history of it.
Wow, wow, wow. For our other panelists, who else wants to add something about Barbados or Trinidad? Actually, Carl, you want to talk about Trinidad? Mike, chime in about Grenada, Rasheed, Jamaica, or different other areas in Brazil that specifically on the history, because I think the history is probably different on the different areas as well.
Yeah, the history is definitely different in many aspects, but they all derive from just having a large background of celebration, especially with Trinidad coming from a French development of their carnival, which was focused more on the elegant festivals, and then therefore after that became an African celebrated festival in the 1800s after the Emancipation Bill was passed, which was focused on the event was called Crème Brûlée to its festivals. And then therefore after it started changing and then becoming more involved. And then as we know, Carnival takes place right before Ash Wednesday, which is during Lent as well. So it's been like over for 60 years it's been taking place. It was highly criticized by the upper class, but we adapted it for the celebration that it is now, and that's what the history of Carnival in Trinidad is.
Mike.
Yes, so Grenada, Spice Island, Spice Mass, most well known for Jab Jab. Jab Jab meaning devil devil or double devil. And to kind of piggyback on what Carl said, the Crème Brûlée, understanding like that was back in the day with, you think back to the time of slavery, and anytime there was a fire, that slave masters would call the slaves from the surrounding plantations to come and put out that fire. So the Crème Brûlée, the broken ash, is used in Grenada specifically. It's a mixture of ash, motor oil, molasses. So there's two different kind of historical figures in Grenada. So you've got the Jab Molassie, which has to do with the story of a slave having been boiled to death in molasses on the plantation. So that was the Jab Molassie, and the ghost coming back to haunt the slave masters and the colonizers. Then you've got Jab Jab as the devil, meaning basically it's a reflection of society nowadays, but what it was there was a reflection of the colonizers and the slave masters being the devil incarnate in their behavior. And so the connection with the horns on their helmets is a direct connection that they made a pact with the devil, covered in the oil, having chains on, and then intentionally being as violent and quote unquote grotesque as possible, like with biting off of the heads of fish and coming around and scaring and intimidating. Also the history to West African culture with having snakes, live snakes, and the heritage of to a sexual goddess. I mean, there's so many layers and levels to it. It's not just some drunken revelry, but it's a mockery of the colonizers, of the slave masters, taken to an extreme, run from mid in the, I don't know, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, getting going from there all the way through sunrise, and Juve, the break of dawn. So the rest of the islands will do Juve, but in Grenada, it is Jab Jab, and it's entirely unique only to Grenada.
Rasheed, tell us about Brazil, because I know you have a love of Brazil. You've been to Brazil over 100 times, I believe.
Yeah, so I'll start off, and it's interesting how all the carnivals are kind of similar in origin. You know, Brazilian Carnival originally started off as a Catholic celebration. You know, it came from the Portuguese settlers because Brazil was settled by the Portuguese, and it was a celebration that was brought to Brazil, and then so from there, and of course, you know, our people we figure out a way to celebrate and turn this into something larger. So it was. The celebration, it basically inspired Africans there in Brazil to mock the Portuguese elite. So that's how kind of the carnival started off in Brazil. And then they started having African-inspired dances, music, and introduction. That was kind of the introduction of carnival in Brazil. And then from there it began the samba schools in the early 1900s. These are places where carnival and Carnival is actually practiced year-round, starting in September, that runs all the way through the time of Carnival, right before Lent. And so these samba schools are located all throughout the cities in Rio de Janeiro, Salvador, and these places. This is where they gather. Claire, me and you, we both went in Rio de Janeiro. There's like about 30 samba schools, and every 2 times a week, they're practicing heavy, you know, for the Carnival. For every year. So this is that's kind of how the carnival started in Brazil in that regard.
So like I've been to 3 carnivals that I can remember. No, 4 carnivals. I've been to Toronto, I went to Carabana, I've been to the Bahamas during Carnival, I've been to Brazil. Now what's interesting, I also went to Venice Carnival, and that's not atypical when people think about Carnival, but have any of you guys seen what Venice Carnival is like?
In the photos,
Yeah,
that looks like trash. So.
Carnival
it's like the original
not,
of what people in the Caribbean and in Brazil are mocking.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the original
exactly.
look.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like their carnival is definitely like it's a whole nother thing. So it was an interesting experience. So I want to know, like, for people like myself who've never participated in carnival, like who on the panel, I know Rasheed has, who else on the panel has been to multiple carnivals? So let's talk about like what's your favorite carnival? Why? So let's start with Carl. I'm going to start with you. What's your favorite carnival? Tell us which carnivals you've been to, what's your favorite, why, and also say if you've never been to carnival, where would you recommend they do their first one at?
Okay, so I've been to Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica, Bahamas, St. Lucia. I said Barbados and Grenada already. Yeah, so Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, Bahamas, St. Lucia, Grenada, and Barbados. So I've been to 7 carnivals. My favorite carnival, and a lot of people may not agree, and I usually get into conversations about this all the time, is Jamaica. I grew up in Brooklyn. I grew up in the dance hall. History was in the clubs battling. So every time I go to Jamaica, I love how I get a little bit of the soca, but then I also get that dance hall. And yes, I understand Carnival is soca primary, and I push that tremendously. A lot of people do not go to Carnival or should go to Carnival to expect anything else but soca, and I love it. Even sometimes you can hear some calypso. But for me, my heart, it always has a place for dancehall. So when I'm in Jamaica and I hear it, I completely lose my mind. And some certain times I'm with a group and my assistant has to pull me back and be like, Carl, like, calm down. But Jamaica is my favorite carnival, personally.
Why though? Why?
Because of the dancehall music that's played.
Dancehall music. So what's the difference? Because you said something that I don't know if other people are thinking it too, but what's the difference between soca and dancehall? Everybody know? Do you know? Does everyone who's on here? I know there's people in the Facebook group. There's people here. Please comment. Do you know the difference between dancehall and soca?
Dancehall is a little bit more aggressive, where soca it's all about, it's a rhythm, where you're dancing with a significant other, you're whining, you're grinding. Dancehall is more about like just movement. So when you go to a club and you see dancehall, you see a lot of the guys battling each other. So it's certain dance moves, and they're hyping each other up, and they're battling each other. So there's no grouping really. There's no couples dancing to it unless it's like really aggressive, hardcore gyrating. So with soca, it's more like whining and just getting a groove with a significant person or by yourself. But I feel like dancehall is just a little bit more aggressive, and that's how I compare to both. And I prefer more aggressive music, which is why you usually find me also as my second tier. Love is being in Grenada because the music out there as well is a little bit more aggressive. The vibe is more aggressive, and I fully indulge in that.
Right.
So Carl keeps talking about the dancing. That's not the differentiator of the music. Soca.
Okay.
All right, so soca, in terms of your BPMs, beats per minute, is much higher than dancehall for sure. But the best analogy I always give to Americans is understand that soca traditionally, traditionally was only played during carnival season. So think of it the same way people think of like Christmas, and you hear Christmas carols, right? You only hear them during that part of the year on the island. Literally, like in Trinidad, it was illegal to have soca being played on Ash Wednesday or any other day going through Lent after Carnival was done. So it literally flipped the switch and it was done. So soca, by the way, you're not gonna hear like they're not trying to kill people. You're not hearing that like it's not like gay bashing, it's not killing people. There are the three topics in soca. All right, it is the experience of like playing mas and pretty mas and being on the road. It is drinking alcohol, and it is sex. Those are the three things that you hear in every version or derivative of soca music. Dancehall will do a lot of other things with lots of other words that aren't used in soca, because on some of the islands it is literally illegal to use curse words at all. And this year, I will refrain from being insanely condescending, but we'll go with Nicki Minaj. While she is Trinidadian, she's not from Trinity. Like the girl who was born there and knows nothing of her culture and came up on top of a truck and cursed. And they were like, yo, no, shut it down. And that doesn't even go into how her man acted and was an idiot on the truck, like pushing back.
Yeah, we heard about that.
But so soca doesn't have any cuss words in it.
Soca, you cannot swear in the lyrics on the road for any of the, because it's illegal to have it. It doesn't mean there's not a lot of changings and derivative of terms that will be related to cursing. Plenty of that, but you have to cover it up and have that like analogy in place. But so it's really creative, lots of imagery, but soca is super high, like in terms of the beats. You have groovy soca, and groovy soca is usually between 110 and 130 beats per minute. And you have power soca. Power soca is like 150 to 185 beats per minute. And there is no music in the United States that will compare. Even techno music does not get to the level of beats that high level power soca goes to.
Wow. Danny, tell us about what carnivals you have been to and what's your favorite and why.
So, of course, Barbados. That was my first carnival. I've gone to Miami Carnival, complete trash to me. I've carnival in, I'm sorry, hopefully I didn't offend anyone, but it is. I've also done New York, and I've done Trinidad. So I would say my favorite, hands down, is Barbados, mainly because it was my first, but then secondly, I really felt safe there. I felt like I could really get out there and do my thing and really feel safe. The people are so welcoming and helpful. I'm a soca head. To back up what Mike said, typically soca isn't played. Like I go to Barbados multiple times a year, and I'm still expecting that vibe from Carnival, and they're playing American music. And I'm like, where's the soca? And they go, oh, we typically play that during crop over. So it's quite sad that they don't play that music all the time. And Barbados has an island full of soca artists. So That really messed me up real bad. But I would say hands down, Barbados is my favorite carnival. Second will probably be Trinidad, but that's a whole nother animal. You have to be on a whole other level to handle Trinidad.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's your favorite carnival, Mike?
I don't give one answer for what my favorite is. So, and it's for very different reasons. Trinidad is the mecca of carnival. So you have to at some point experience the mecca and the magnitude of what goes on in Trinidad. But it's not where I would go to experience what I would consider the roots and what has not been commercialized and sanitized for worldwide consumption. And so Grenada with Jab Jab cannot ever be transformed into a commercial product that will be sanitized. I mean, like literally the whole island would revolt. Like there's no way Jab Jab is turned into a commercial entity the way Jube and Mas is on so many other islands. But to me, that's a little bit of nostalgia from my childhood, because in Anguilla, we had 6,000 people. We had 3 trucks. You went behind the trucks. You brought your own rum. You'd support the local vendors, grabbing the sodas up the side of the road, and you just got lit. Like the whole day, you just went around the square, just the valley of Anguilla. It was you just went there. We went by the prison. You'd see people waving a rag out the prison. Like it doesn't matter. So it's a small island feel, and Grenada has that because it's less than 50,000 people. But I've been to Trinidad, Barbados, St. Lucia, Grenada, Bermuda, Bahamas, Notting Hill.
You can't tell us your favorite.
No, I said 2 very different things. I mean, Miami, all the things American. What's that? Top 2 for opposite reasons. Trinidad and Grenada. But I could miss out on Trinidad for a long time.
Yeah.
I did it like 5 years in a row, working it on doing lots of things. But for people who've never experienced it, there's nothing else like Trinidad.
Definitely not. And nothing like Grenada either.
Yeah, they seem to be
very different. Very different reasons. For
So
sure.
Rasheed, I believe you've been to all of those. You've been to Trinidad. I know you've been to Jamaica and Brazil. Can you talk about your favorite carnival? And I want to know as well, because I know we've discussed this, what are the differences in the vibes of carnivals? Like when I went to Brazil Carnival, I love Brazil Carnival, but Brazil is so different than all the other carnivals. So can you talk a little bit about your favorite carnival, and then also some of the different vibes that you've noticed in the carnivals?
Sure. So the first carnival I went to Trinidad and Tobago. First carnival like in 2005 or 2006, and it, you know, the actual first carnival I went to like Mardi Gras. My family's from New Orleans originally, so I went to Mardi Gras a few times, but it doesn't really compare overall to like the Caribbean carnivals and things when you get outside the U.S., because it's a sense of freedom really. When you play carnivals outside of the U.S., there's not like police lines like in Caravana. I remember when I went in Toronto, I played Mouse in Caravana, they would have like just a very heavy police presence. It's just like that in the U.S. period. You know, when it comes to policing us, they want to have, you know, you go to the New York. I went to the New York Carnival. I went to Miami's. They had one in Atlanta, but the stateside ones just don't really compare vibe-wise. You know, it's not the same. Once you go outside the U.S., you played in Trinidad and Jamaica and Brazil. It's just a totally different vibe. But normally, what I like to do, like when I go to Carnival every year. But normally, I go to Brazil one year, and then I do Jamaica or Trinidad. You know, because they fall around the same time. So with Brazil Carnival, I just, you know, they have 3 different carnivals in Brazil. The 3 main ones, one in Rio de Janeiro, the other in Salvador, and the other one in Recife, Olinda. And so, you know, you have 2 different carnivals. In Rio, you have like the one that's like the one you mostly see on the Sambadrome with all the pageantry and things like, you know, where we take our group with Up in the Air Life. But then you also have the street carnival, which is completely free to go to. samba music, beautiful, all Brazilian music, samba, MPB, pagode, music with like beautiful African roots, and it's free to go to. So that's why I like to go to the Caribbean Carnivals one year and the Brazil Carnival the other year, because it's just, you don't have to pay to go anywhere. You just go you drink on the street, you get with your friends, you do your own costumes, and you just have a wonderful time. So I like to switch both. I go to both. You know, I like to do Trinidad. Jamaica's Carnival falls like the week before Easter. So that's why it's always easy to do that one, because it doesn't fall during Trinidad or Brazil. So it's easy to go to. And also Jamaica's Carnival is cool because like Carl said, I do like listening to a little dance hall too. Like so sometimes I go out and you hear some of that aspect of it. And also you have the beaches there, which are a little bit easier to access than when you're in Trinidad and Tobago, like in Port of Spain. So you have a little bit more access to that as well. So yeah, so those carnivals are good. And also, like, if you're playing in the US, if you do Caravana or Miami, I would highly suggest, if you've done those, definitely take the next step. Go to Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, Barbados, because those are, once you do those, it's just a higher level, next level of experience and just appreciation for the culture.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely planning to participate in my first carnival, and I will be going with Black Girls Travel too. So I want to know, like, because I've been thinking about going to crop over forever, more than 5 years. So Danny, can you like tell us a story? Just kind of walk us through, like, what is it like gearing up to Carnival? And we're going to talk about this with all you guys, but can you kick us off to talk about, like, what is it like when we go out for the first day or the weekend, or let's just start anywhere.
So specifically with Black Girls Travel too, we typically come in the day before 4-day or Juve, which is like a nighttime parade, if you will. This is typically the parade for those individuals who probably can't take that day heat of like Grand Cadume, right? So we come in like on a Thursday, which is considered our travel day, and we prep everyone, welcome them, they chill. Some people will go and get their costumes from the band house. So the band house is actually where you would collect your costumes during distribution, and also make final payments and things like that with your respective band. So, but also you go on a designated day. Some people may have to go on that Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or what have you. After that, the following day, and we do it a little bit differently. There are fetes, which is French for parties, that are going on constantly, even before we even touch down, because crop over, a lot of people don't know this, it doesn't actually start at the end of July and the first week of August. It's like a 3-month celebration. But the climax is on the last week of July, first week of August. And excuse me. And so with that said, we incorporate other parts of Barbados into the festivities that may be outside of the actual crop over experience. So we do like a rum tour and learn the history of rum, because rum originated in Barbados. Now, that evening, we actually dress up and for our Juve or 4-day for Barbados. You will never hear it called 4-day anywhere else. God, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but for Barbados, it's called 4-day versus Juve. And so that is typically consisting of like a t-shirt and some like biker shorts or some bikinis and things like that. Some girls put on stockings if they don't want no jiggly going on or what have you. But this is like, again, a cool night, dirty time. And so that is my most amazing part about crop over, because it's like dark and you're going into the wee hours of the morning, and you can get on real bad on the road and nobody can really see what you're doing unless they're the person that's doing it with you or whatnot. And then the following day we go into recovery for a couple hours. And then we pop back up and we head to our first fete, which is Bliss. And Bliss is a premium event. I absolutely love and adore Bliss. It's held by Esquire Entertainment. And we've been going to Bliss for the past, I think, 4 years, but we We rent out a whole private area for ourselves and have an amazing time and shut totally down. The following day, we take over an entire yacht. So, Carl may be very aware of this, Limers. So,
Limers Cruise, boy.
Right,
Oh my goodness.
right. So with Limers, they take over a multitude of yachts, you know, throughout Barbados, and they even sail a boat from Trinidad that I've heard that's a double-decker. But it's so many people. But what we do is we take over a 62-foot yacht strictly for Black girls travel too. And so we kind of rock it out there. I don't want to take over the entire call talking about the entire itinerary of Black girls travel too. But that brings us up to that Sunday, which is more so of a relaxed, cool down time to prepare us for Grand Kadooment, which is the day where we put on all the jewels and the bedazzle and the makeup and the feathers and all of that.
Wow. So you mentioned fetes. Rasheed, tell us all about fetes. Like, what the heck is a fete? I know it's a party, but tell us more.
Yeah, so fetes, these are like huge parties that they go on pre-carnival, during carnival, pretty much 24/7, 24/7 on all the islands. You have to prepay to get a lot of these, a lot of these fetes and parties sell out very quickly, and so a lot of times, these fetes were announced way before, years before, and people know about the fetes. These are fetes that you go, these are fetes that I go to every single year, and so these fetes in Trinidad and Jamaica and in some of these other countries, mostly in the Caribbean carnival sphere. These are like premium parties that you want to go to, all inclusive drinks, food. They have breakfast fetes. I was showing Carl a video of his boy Marcus the other day. We just a video of him. It was a party that we went to in Trinidad Carnival when I took our boy Marcus about 7 years ago. And it's a party you show up at 6 in the, it starts like pre-dawn around 3 in the morning. Some of those breakfast.
Yeah.
3 a.m. and you're eating breakfast. It's a breakfast fest. So you're eating breakfast, premium champagne. I mean, it's a hell of a party. So you watch the sunrise and you're out here in these huge fields and you just dancing the soca. It's amazing. And so you have these fetes that go on pretty much when I go to Carnival, I like to get there the Wednesday before the actual day of Carnival in Trinidad. So these fetes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, leading up to Carnival. This is where you want to be. You want to be socializing, meeting people, dressed to the nines, and just the atmosphere, the networking is it's beautiful. And so these parties, you're going back to back. So you got to be ready. You got to have your stamina got to be tight, or you ain't gonna make it. And I remember one time, I think I fell asleep. This is like a $200 party, and I'm like, oh well, you just can't do anything about it, But
You falling asleep.
But yeah, so these events, they're parties, they're boat parties, they're anything that's kind of any parties that are kind of outside of the actual carnival part.
Okay.
And these things go on all the time, and they're amazing. They're costly, but very worth it. You got to do it.
Okay.
You got to do it.
So I know I can't have anyone else talk about Juvets other than Juve Mike. And so, Mike, tell us all about Juvets, but more importantly, I don't know if you can tell a story about why people call you Juve Mike, because I've never asked you that before, but if that's PG-13, please share.
Sure. All right. So being out of this group is interesting. I was the only one who had childhood in the Caribbean. So being in Anguilla, no, those panelists, don't wave at me. I'm talking about the panelists, Wendy, okay, the panelists. Right. All the panelists I know are American. So
I'm Haitian. I grew up in the Caribbean.
Sir,
Wait,
you
aren't
just
you
talked
American
about being in
right?
New York, growing up in New York. What are you talking about?
Growing up in New York, but I was born in Haiti, and I came up here when I was 7.
Good Lord.
Mike, aren't you American too?
We're learning about each other.
Literally, I'm not saying I've always said I'm born in America and split time as a child between US and Anguilla. So, all right, let's get back to the fun stuff. So I had a lot of nicknames as a kid, being one of only 50 whites on an island of 6,000. So it's gone a full range of Casper to just white boy, white Mike. Other people were like, oh, you're that carnival boy, carnival Mike. And then, you know, they were like, yo, why I always see you at every Juve? Don't matter where it is, this boy at Juve. Because Juves traditionally will only happen during Carnival, but again, as this has become more commercialized, Juve fetes will pop up in the country and a lot of other countries throughout the year for different reasons. But I would always show up because it is the wildest time of Carnival. There are no rules. Your inhibitions go away. And I'm kind of a polar opposite person. So strictly business and focused during the day. And when I let loose, I'm gonna let loose. So I started being known, and I had to back off from it because I didn't like the reputation and connotations of it. But I was known for lifting up big gals. And there's a song that Hollis or Mr. Killer and I used to do some performances together, Roly Poly, and I would do some different performances and we would challenge each other on that. But then it became a situation of like, yo, the white dude using black women as a prop. And so I just cut that out altogether and was like, no, that's, while that was not where it began, or I can go with, that's a whole nother day, we can talk about how it began, but once that even connotation came out, I was like, absolutely not. I need to distance myself from that because I'm not here to have anyone be objectified in that manner. So beyond that, Juve, meaning the breaking of dawn, starting in the middle of the night, my favorite activity to bring in people, kind of bless them, I would say the christening for Carnival for folks, always covering up in baby oil. You put the baby oil on first, put it everywhere, cover yourself up. Ladies, do not think twice about the fact that you are going out there with a shower cap on. You put the shower cap on, you get yourself a wig, you put a wig over it, or you get a hat, you cover your hair. Whatever you gotta do, cover your hair, because it will get destroyed at Juve. Fellas, your hair's just gonna get destroyed, but there's nothing wrong with putting baby oil all over you. When you're in Grenada, you take it a step further than just baby oil, right? And you actually put Vaseline on so that you're not allowing the oil to get into your skin, because we are talking about motor oil. So you will use Vaseline, and then there's even songs about cleaning up from Jab Jab, calling the blue.
Oh my God.
So talking about blue soap, it becomes, let's just say, hedonistic group cleaning process in the ocean. I mean, even the hotels in Trinidad won't let you back in the hotel. They'll be like, you're all headed out to the pool. You're going to go by the pool and use the public showers out by there. You can't use our towels. You cannot bring in your Juve clothes. You just need to understand you're wearing throwaway clothes, and that's okay. And that's part of the current experience. But I do want people to understand the roots of it. And honestly, in a certain way, I was like, yo, it's, yeah, I get that people are like, yo, white guy with Juve. And when we talk about it being a mockery of colonization, a mockery of the slave masters, yes, we can have that conversation. I'll be like, yeah, I get it. I could change, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'd rather have the conversation about being anti-racist, and I would be out there mocking them the same way. And today, of being like, fuck the colonization, fuck white supremacy. I mean, that's literally what I'm doing in terms of facilitating discussions on active allyship and understanding the impact of institutional racism on a day-to-day basis. So
yeah, we'll talk about that later, and I appreciate that.
So, but no, just Juve, not to be missed, man. But if you're on the bougie side, just understand there is no clean dry zone.
People on here probably.
Yeah, there is no VIP VIP section of Juve, you are going to get mashed up. You are going to have powder thrown on you. You're going to have paint thrown on you. And at some point, the people will be respectful, but they will be like rubbing it on you. And yeah, there will be people rubbing it, putting handprints on people's ass for fun, but like with their permission. And there's all types of funny things going on. It's inhibition's gone. And part of the reason that I have to keep two names is because I couldn't run businesses in the United States. Danny, you'll appreciate this. I had a video of me at Limers end up on World Star. That was like before I even got home from Barbados. I was on World Star and I had lost a 6-figure contract. And I have been on the front page of the Jamaican Gleaner with my damn full government name. And I'm like, yo, y'all need to stop giving my name out. Like just Juve Mike, that is it. So you will never see the two of them, except for Claire, have my name. That just does not happen. And it hasn't happened for like the last decade. So I could run my businesses in the US and not lose contracts because Americans don't understand this is a cultural experience. It's not an orgy. It's just how we're having fun. No harm.
So
anyway.
Carl.
Yes.
So Carl, you have a company, Carnival Jumpers, and I know that you guys plan for Trinidad as well as other places. Can you walk us through what that is like? Dating talks about Barbados, but I want to know, what is that experience going to be like for Trinidad?
Like, Trinidad is the epidemic of carnivals. So during the first day when
like what?
It is the main carnival, main structure, main. You think of carnival, you think Trinidad first. That's been my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, as many times as I've been, I think I've done Trinidad about 6 times. And my very first time going there, thank you, Juve Mike, again and again and again. I think I will never stop thanking this man because he's literally guided me through the process of just not dying on the road, like completely death. Because even though I was born in Haiti and I am from the Caribbean, my parents did not allow me to participate in those type of festivals because they frowned on it. So growing up, I did a lot of other different type of festivals, Burning Man, and and I'm thinking, one day festival, I'm drinking, I'm having fun, I'm going home, I'm hardcore. No, Trinidad is a 7-day or more back to back partying. So with our guests, we usually allow them the first day to just rest. So the day they arrive, which is usually the Thursday, we don't do anything that day. We hold a meet and greet where we go, we greet them, we let them know who we are, what the expectation is, and we go over everything we went over for the past couple months. Drink water. Thank you, Juve Mike. Drink coconut water. Drink water, drink coconut water, have a drink, have water, have a drink, have coconut water. We go over the process tons of times. Have a buddy, a partner with you, so that way if you're missing, because we promote our guests to be on their worst behavior. We have a great amount of staff. We have a team that's there with us, so it's not just me. It's usually myself, my business partner, and 2 to 3 ambassadors. During the first day, they have a complete rest day coming from wherever they came from to rest in the hotel. We take them out to eat on the avenue or the strip, which is, everybody knows Arapita Avenue. You go, you have some drinks, you relax, you chill. Everybody's liming. Liming means hanging out. So for the terms that we start to use here. The Friday, we have silent morning. So we diversify our parties. 1 boat event, 1 breakfast party, which happens early in the morning. That can happen between 3 a.m. and 1 p.m. 1 day party, which will happen between 10 and 9 p.m. And then an overnight party, which is a Juve, which Mike has touched on. And then the carnival. So each day we start with a different event. So on the Friday, we'll have silent morning, which is the boat party, which is amazing. You go on this boat. You're having the best time of your life. You're drinking, and then sorry about that. And then you take the guests to back to the hotel. The next day we do the Juve, which happens overnight. We make sure everybody has their hair. We provide hair nets. We provide face masks. We also sometimes provide our own paint. We try to get there early. We distribute paint. We let them know whether it's going to be mud, how to do your hair. We kind of guide them. The day after that, which is not even a day, a couple hours after that, we have Soca Brainwash. Go back to the hotel, you get clean, you dress, you go to Soca Brainwash, you have a time of your life. Again, a lot of us separate during that time, but we meet at the end. We have a meetup point. Then the next day we have Carnival. Sorry, I'm right back on.
So this
I know
is
we need
over
to touch on
7 days. So 7 days.
No, it's not 7 days. So we
Oh,
start
okay.
on a Thursday. We start on a Thursday, which is the day of the rest. Friday we have the boat party. Saturday we have the day party. Saturday night going into Sunday we have our Juve, and then Sunday we have like beach house for another event.
Okay. So
Brainwash is there on Saturday, but that was after.
Yeah, Brainwash is on Saturday. That's the mistake I made. And then after Brainwash, we do the Juve. And then Sunday, we do Beach House. And then, or we'll do Veil. We mix it up during the day parties. And then Monday, we'll go on the road with them. And then when we're on the road with them, we teach them like where you're going, because the Monday on the road is just the day, the pre-carnival day. So you're doing, it's like a practice. You're doing the road, you're following the trucks. You can wear your own type of design. Some people come with their own Monday wear depending on what band you're with. You can create your own, and some bands actually offer Monday wear as well. And then Tuesday is the big day where it's carnival. Everybody goes, they dress up, they get ready, and then we hit the road.
Wow. So what would you say, and Danny, what would you say of your clients? Which event of the weekend or part of the experience in Barbados and or Trinidad is like the highlight?
I wouldn't consider one event to be the highlight, because we diversify our events. Again, we give a day party, a Juve, a boat party. So we kind of give them every experience and allow them to choose, should they come back by themselves or should they come back with us, to let us know which one they like more. But honestly, the way we put our parties together, everybody likes each one equally. Now, when it comes to the Juve, it's not for everybody. That's one thing I could say. I may say they like every other party equally, but the Juve is just not for the weak-hearted. Some people get overwhelmed by it sometimes. We've had people who've entered the Juve and then asked us, can we walk them home? And I've walked miles in mud and paint to get somebody back to the hotel. But it's an experience within itself, and we try to educate people as much as possible on what to expect. And certain people who have come with us, as a team, we're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Like, we're really about to throw this person into a Juve. And then they get there and they're like, because you've informed us so much and sent us music and sent us YouTube videos about what we're expecting, we came ready to party, and we're gonna show you we're a carnival jumper. And they go all out.
Okay. Danny, what about, I mean, I know when you describe your experience, I already know what my highlight's gonna be. It's gonna be the yacht. Like, forget all the part, like that is going to be mine. What do you think from your clients? What do they have, like a highlight experience?
I'll tell you, when we're actually going through the experience, you see some of them looking like they want to tap out, like they're not going to be able to make it, but we be coaching them through the entire process. And at the end, we ask this question of our experiencers, and they have a very hard time, on the back end saying, what was their highlight? I believe it's like a combination of all put together, where we're able to offer a hell of an experience. Even for myself, I mean, I love Bliss, I love 4-Day, I love Grand Kadooment. I love it all, the overall carnival experience. So it's really hard to say what that highlight would be. I think your highlight would more than likely be the 62-foot yacht that we take over. That may more than likely be your highlight, which it's absolutely amazing, but it's hard to divvy it up. It's the overall experience.
All right, so I want to do rapid fire with you guys. And the question is how to prepare for carnival. And when I call on you, you get 2 sentences. So how do you prepare for carnival? Mike, you're up first.
Cardio, cardio, cardio. So get your ass, walk in for an hour plus, listen to the music. If you're on an elliptical, put it on 15 and walk and chip and understand you need marathon strength. And then pack, I usually pack the little roller, like roll on your body. Since you can't fit the massage machine gun, you don't have enough space. So roller, cardio, bring an icy hot. I know that sounds crazy, but bring it. You don't understand how much stamina you have to carry this out for a week plus. This is not anything that you've ever done in the United States. Hands down. Seen pro athletes pro athletes, NFL players have passed out and I've carried them home after 3 days in Trinidad, the same way I carried Carl's ass home. Okay. Water.
We had to bring that up. We had to bring that up.
Yeah, because you said it. I saved your damn life. It's true, man. Like people think you're a superhero. You're not ready for the amount of alcohol and heat that is part of Carnival. Sorry, that's more than 2 sentences. There you go.
Rasheed, you're up next. How to prepare? Rapid fire. 2 seconds.
I would say definitely probably as an American, if you're not from the like Carnival and Caribbean culture, I know especially maybe for like people like me, I'm from California, so like growing up, I didn't grow up around people from the Caribbean really. You know what I mean? Like in LA, it just wasn't like that back in the day. So I got exposed later on, but I think I come with an open mind. I love adventure. I can get down to anything. I like all music. So I would say definitely come with an open mind. I've seen some like American brothers come there and they look all kind of stiff and don't know how to, move and dance. So you have to, when you get there, you have to just kind of get with it and just go with the flow, and just see how other people are getting down and just go for it. You know what I mean? And so I would say definitely that, come with an open mind musically and just so you can be ready to absorb the culture. And also definitely pace yourself, because I passed out in Trinidad too. Once I woke up in a park, lost my camera, you know what I'm saying? But it was cool. It was right around the corner from the Hyatt where I was staying at. And I woke up, I'm like, damn, I lost my camera. I'm like, well, you got to pace yourself. That's for sure. You definitely have to pace yourself. So those would be my
Anything
two.
you lose in Trinidad is an offering.
Yeah.
So Carl, what are your 2 things for people preparing? What should they do? Pack? What are your 2 strategies to prepare?
Do your research and don't be afraid to ask any questions. Ask all the questions in the world and work on your stamina. Honestly, those are the most 2 important things. Work on your stamina to last, do your research, and ask as many questions as you need to. And on top of that, pick one drink and stick to it. No mixing.
Yeah.
No champagne and then vodka, Johnny Walker, and then no. Pick one drink and stick to that.
Right.
I'm speaking from experience.
I'm not that answer. Sorry, Claire. That's the way Carnival works, girl.
Anyway,
Because
Danny, what do you recommend?
Okay, so the first time I went to Carnival, I was only told about 4-day. So I purchased my ticket for 4-day months prior to arriving to Barbados. And that was it. I wanted to participate in Grand Kadooment with the feathers and all of that. I had no idea that actual process of ordering a costume happened months in advance. So I personally say, especially for those that are new, that want to attend Carnival, whether it's in Trinidad, whether it is in Barbados, Caribana, or what have you, I would most definitely go with someone that's an expert or go with a company that provide those services where they will actually hold your hand throughout the entire process of selecting a band, helping you purchase your costume, explaining all of the necessary steps in order to have a successful time in Carnival. It's quite overwhelming from the phrases. It's quite overwhelming from all of the fetes. You got hundreds of fetes that occur in over a week or 2, and it can be extremely overwhelming. So if you're not going with someone that is experienced in that area, it's more than likely going to be a fail for you. Secondly, I would never travel to Carnival by myself, period, unless I'm experienced and I'm meeting friends there.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good tip. Yeah, I wouldn't even think about going by myself. There's no way. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So the last couple things I want to ask you guys, actually, I want to show some of the pictures because we have some amazing photos that you guys shared. So I'm going to share my screen. And as I share the photos, it would be great if you guys can kind of tell us the story behind the photo.
Okay. I see you, Danny.
Yes.
I know, I was like, whoa. I looked at this picture like, okay, yeah, I won't be going to Carnival.
So this was at Bliss, which is...
It's everything.
It's absolutely, it's everything. Very classy, dressed to the nines. It's an absolutely amazing event. Premium event at that. They have chefs that they fly in from all over the world. It's all inclusive. I would also say that this is actually on a Saturday, and probably about 6 hours prior, I was just finishing up 4-day. So I could go back, I wash up in the ocean, pop up into our accommodation, sleep for like an hour and a half, 2, pop back up, spritz the face or what have you, and then bam, we out again. So that was actually at Bliss.
Wow.
So this quarantine weight, I look nothing like that right now. But this was actually on the road. This woman walked up to me and she was like, "Oh my God, Danny." And I was like, "Hey." And so we connected and she was like, "Can we get a picture?" So this is what a frontline costume looks like. You typically have the huge feathers. They're very much so more elaborate than the midline or backline, but they're also the most expensive. I think this one here cost around me almost $1,000 USD. Now, although they're extremely beautiful, the wings are extremely annoying and they can typically hurt people, you know, and so I don't wear them the entire time. I only wear it for the beginning, get those beautiful pictures, and then when they start playing bashment soca, I have to come out of those feathers and I give it to a little kid on the side of the road, and then I get bad on the road real quick.
Yes.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So this was me at the band house where I came on a fam trip with Barbados Tourism. And so these are Barbadian women that, I guess for a living, they do dancing throughout the year, not just for Carnival, but they work at Harbor Lights. I don't know if y'all guys ever heard of Harbor Lights or whatnot, but yeah, they work at Harbor Lights. So they're really close friends of mine. So we were at the band house.
Awesome, awesome.
Okay.
Has everybody got abs?
I was gonna say something about Danny's costume. So like, if you're a guy and you see Danny out there with those feathers, don't think about trying to come up and dancing with her, because they want to have that, they want to keep that look. So you can't just go up and get a wind up. I mean, Danny, do you let guys come up on you when you're dressed up, when you're fully have the wings up like that?
No, because it's all about the integrity of the full costume. And
Right.
here's the thing, we were on the side of the road. We had not even began like actually, being in formation with the band. So
Right.
during that time, it's all about pictures. You got photographers everywhere, videographers everywhere. So, and guys know, well, those that are accustomed to the culture, they know not to necessarily come up to try to get a wine or walk up, anything like that. If anything, they ask if they get a picture.
Mm.
Yeah.
What kind of shoes do you wear with these outfits?
The most comfortable shoes in your entire life. Like, I have to use Dr. Scholl's and all of that. Oh my God.
All right, well, Mike, tell us some stories. What's up with all these? Where are you? Tell us more.
You're muted.
No, mute. Mute. Oh, let me send him a message.
We'll come back to Mike. We'll come back.
Oh, he's back. Okay, he's on.
Are you there, Mike? Carl, go ahead, Carl. And we'll
No,
come back
I shouldn't be muted. You hear me? I'm muted?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay. So I was just saying, like, yo, everyone, men and women, should be getting a shoe one size larger than the normal size and getting Dr. Scholl's in the preparation. I encourage people, if you're not getting a service and you don't have like the companies picking up your costumes, you try every piece of that costume on at the mass camp. You better try it on, because once you sign off and leave, you ain't getting help. So you try it on. And as a photographer, I used to encourage my friends, like, look, I know you want to do all the beautiful makeup and do all the shots the day of, but if we can do like stage shots from distance by the ocean or whatever, do it a couple of days in advance for two reasons. One, you've got more time, you're not as stressed. Two, you haven't been drinking and eating as much, so you're not as bloated. So it's easier to get the full body shots. And then the day of mass, you're on the road and you have all the makeup and you do a lot more close-ups. Each one of these costumes, I've given away my headpieces to kids like Danny. The first one was in Trinidad. The second one was Grand Cayman, so that was Barbados. I have this thing about Barbados, the thing I don't love to start their road is that everyone starts at the stadium and you just stand around for this long ass time until your band gets called.
Now it's changed.
Finally changed it. Jesus, thank God.
Lord, no, go back to that one.
Mike, tell us what's going on in this one.
So this lady next to me is she's actually a professional pole dancer, like an actual artistic dancer. So I was joking with her. I was like, yo, I'm just as flexible as you. So let me go ahead and put my leg up on, I'm getting a drink off the drink truck right now. That's what I'm technically doing with a fat cup. But I was like, yo, Mari, I can do this better than you. So of course she then put her leg like over her head. So I just picked her up on my shoulders and just carried her down the road. But she's good people. So for the men, a lot of times like you'll have far less of a costume. It's just board shorts, and this would be frontline for men having like a headpiece. For bands that bring me in and I do modeling or for them or stuff like that, they give you the frontline costume a lot of times. And it's just to promote their band. I advocate, and any band that I do anything with, they have to do something that gives back in the community. If they don't, then I don't ride with them. So that's just my rule. But that headpiece goes off to the kids at some point on the road. If you check my Instagram, like @JuveMike, you'll see lots of kids with me during Carnival, because I'm giving away every piece of my costume, including like that chest piece can then become their chest piece, or you'll have armbands that become their headbands. It's all a good time. So I think the next one was Juve, or you had one that was Juve, but whatever. No, that one. Yeah, there you go. That's a Juve. And ladies, as you can see, like the woman behind has the shower cap. The one behind in the blue usually is a shower cap with a rag over it. It's just, that's so normal. It's every day for Juve. As clearly, I was still covering up my hair. Not that it really was. So
wow. I'm still waiting for the workout routines, Mike.
Carving Carnival bodies. Yeah.
Yes.
I need to publish that, and then the proceeds will go to educational fund in Trinidad for one of the orphanages. So, yeah.
What is it, Mike, that you're creating? You're creating a book about how to get ready physically for Carnival?
Yeah,
okay.
Carving Carnival bodies. Yeah. So don't worry about it. You don't have to be perfect. It's what you want to be for yourself. Don't worry about the vanity. People come in all shapes and sizes on the road. If you feel good, that matters way more than anything else. But part of feeling good is having stamina, as like all of us have talked about. So you got to do cardio, man. You got to do it.
Definitely. Well, this picture is of our 2019 Barbados group trip, and that's the group that we went with, or that came with us. The most amazing time of our life. Again, we try to curate a typical experience, but this experience was beyond us. Our team was very ecstatic, and people even cried when we tried to tell them that this was done. But a lot of the guests are returning. Oh, this is Juve. This is 4-day in Barbados, playing with Native. I try to stick to a lot of the local experiences. And when it's time to get dirty, I get fully indulged, as you can see. So water pumps came out, and I was right under.
And Carl, when do the water pumps come out for people that have perspective for Juve? When does water usually come out?
The water usually comes out later in the day. So when the Juve starts in midnight on 2, 3 a.m., usually the pumps will come out like around 6 a.m., 5 a.m. when the sun is coming up to cool you down.
And they clean you off, for sure.
Yeah, and that too. This is us at Bliss in Barbados as well. Just a team together, having a good time, taking pictures. It was extremely hot, and you can't see that by the amount of fun we have. And again, when you're in such a crowd, you're just feeding off everybody's energy. And I think you can tell with the girl that's standing like right there with the burgundy shirt and the glasses that she wipes the sweat off her head. So that just goes to tell you. But yeah, we had a great time there as well. This is another picture of our team. We tried to show you the transition before classy. We usually pick a day party where everybody dresses really nice, and then we wanted to show everybody the after. So the below picture is them headed to Kadooment to participate in the carnival.
Yo, Claire, just before you go on another picture, for like Carl's, oh, hold on, the shoes. It's gotta be the shoes. If you go back, yeah, the ladies were asking what type of shoes, and all right, on the bottom right hand side, you see the girl with the like blue boots. You'll see a lot of girls in the Caribbean will have these types of boots, and they can put anything in the bottom of those boots to cushion them, and they'll have something going up their calves. There's a lot of sneakers in this crew and high top sneakers, and then you'll see some girls bring out true like wedges or pumps for their first hour on the road, and they immediately switch off after they've done all of their shoots. Like Danny said, like you switch off and you have your tennis or your trainers or whatever for the rest of the day. But shoes for guys don't mean much anything, but for the ladies, I know that's a key thing.
Quick,
what brands are you wearing? Like what brand specifically of shoe? Like when you say sneakers, like what?
People are trying to match their outfit, whatever shoe they can find that matches their outfit a lot of times.
I want to add something to what Mike said when he pointed out the young lady in the blue boots. True. Also, I like the boot concept because ladies can put in their lip gloss, their lipstick, or any type of items that you would typically carry in your purse. You can actually put it inside your boot, so you don't have to carry a purse. I've seen ladies that would have like little purses that go over their shoulder, and it just doesn't look right. It just kind of messes up the entire costume. So when you are rocking a boot, you do have that option of putting items inside of your boot, which I think is a good look.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, and plus when our attendees go with us, we usually give them a guide, and with the guide are Amazon links and links to a site called Carnivalista, where they can purchase products for their experience on the road. One-stop shop, you get all your things through our guide list and carnivalista.com site, and you just have everything that you need for the experience. Again, Juve, just another look where you see the paint and what's involved. Look how everybody's happy, especially me. I don't know why I have my tongue out and there's paint being thrown, but that's another story. I've tasted so much paint.
So I am curious for the panelists. So I've been to Holi before, and Holi is similar with the paint. Does anyone know the historical, if there's any linkage to Holi?
Yeah, because if in Trinidad you have a large Indian population, so I mean, you think of they celebrate Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, Muslim holidays in Trinidad. So everything is brought in into that culture for sure.
Yeah, I would love to know the origins. Yeah, I'll have to follow up on that. Okay, Rasheed, you are up next. You look really young right here.
Well, that was 2013. So this was like the day. This was like Carnival Tuesday. So we're just just about to hit the road. Tuesday morning, you know, I was super ready to enjoy Carnival Tuesday. The previous one was that was in Trinidad. This was in Jamaica last year. Jamaica's the carnival part. You know, Trinidad has like 2 days on the road, and Jamaica just has the 1 day on the road. And so this was like the one of the days on the road. There with one of my homegirls there hanging out, and so yeah, this is the Jamaica road experience. So yeah, Jamaica, yeah, the carnival, the costumes are really cool, and in Jamaica it's definitely a smaller carnival. It's not like in Trinidad, the whole country is literally celebrating it, but in Jamaica it's kind of just the uptown crowd, a certain subset of Jamaica, of Kingston, Jamaican people from Jamaica, and also a lot of people from Trinidad come and everything all over the Caribbean. So this was in Jamaica as well, in Kingston. A couple years. This was a couple years ago.
I'm curious. I've seen a lot of the pictures. People are holding like the water jugs or mugs or cups.
Yeah.
Do you have to carry that with you the entire time, or is there somewhere to put that down?
So those come with the costumes. A lot of times the carnival groups will have the cups that will come. So you use those cups to go to each drink truck to get whatever drink you want. So you can get water, you can get Johnny Walker and coconut. That's what I like to drink on the road. You can get champagne or whatever. So you go, you know that drink truck that Mike was at where he was dancing on?
Yeah, what's a drink truck? I meant to ask that.
Go ahead, Mike.
It's a rolling bar. It's literally a Mack truck with a bar on it. Depending on the island and the laws, it could be serviced only on one side, could be serviced on both sides. You should not hang on it ever. Like that is actually like, yeah, you can get thrown out of bands for doing that, but that was different. You have wee trucks. So you have a potty truck way at the back of certain bands. So that's like VIP treatment. Trust me, that's not every island, but wee trucks are back. And you have your Mack truck, your music trucks. So depending on the size of the band, you could have 4 or 5 music trucks. And that is a flatbed with no less than usually 30 speakers, 2 stories high. You can hear it from miles and miles away. So like in Grenada, you can hear it going around the port, and then you can hear it 4 miles down the beach, at the other end of the beach, and have it syncopating. In Trinidad, you'll hear it from across the savannah on top of the Hyatt and Hilton, no matter where the bands are. So it just depends on the truck, but drink trucks in themselves are moving bars on a Mack truck. That is it. You don't have to worry about it because all the bands that we're talking about are inclusive bands. So it's just drink whatever the hell you want. You don't have to ask questions.
Well, Mike, you left out. You got to paint a clear picture. The restroom or the little what is that?
Truck?
Yeah, it's moving. So you got to like jump on the truck.
Right.
Well, it pauses, it moves. Guys, you really shouldn't be going on there unless you really need to, because like, guys, you can go in a million other places. Like, ain't nobody stopping you.
Funny thing is, I've never remember having to use the bathroom on the road.
Yeah, you don't want to as a man. Like, it's a bad sign if you have to.
Yeah, with the feathers and the costume, it's a nightmare for ladies to have to go.
For sure. Yeah.
So for this truck that's moving, like, do you have money that you're carrying with you? Like, or is it?
You have a bracelet. So much like this, you would have a bracelet for the band. You would have that cup, and you need to hand that over to get your drink. And you're going to chip. You're going to keep dancing and moving along with the truck as it goes down the road. And they will look for you, randomly put it out, or look around and be like, yo, where'd that person go? But it can be a scene. You just got to be prepared. You don't ever stand near the wheel wells of the tires. You stay away from that. But yeah, you're moving alongside the drink truck as it's going down the road, and randomly it'll pause at times and they'll send it. No one's allowed to get drinks on major corners when the Mack truck is coming around a major corner, or when you're getting ready to go on stage. So They have certain rules and timing, but that's again why Danny had said, go with a veteran. They can guide you through all that stuff.
And also on this procession where the drink truck is, you might have one of the top soca artists performing on one of the trucks. So he's performing, singing, and dancing. And so you like the other year Kes the band was performing, and I was like right next to him, just singing all the songs with him, and just so it's that type of vibe. You have the drink truck, you have the people who are the soca performers on these trucks performing all the great songs, and then you have the bathroom. So you got all this whole procession and people are just moving. It's a beautiful experience.
You want to tell us about the last picture, Rasheed?
Oh yeah, so this was in Jamaica at I Love Soca event, and this was like me and some of like 3 of my guys who came down there with me, and so yeah, this was a party in Jamaica. Like this was the first night I think we got there a couple years ago, and so it was a huge party like out in like right there in Kingston, and so it was all inclusive. Once again another all inclusive party, and this is one of the fetes, one of the big fetes that they have in Jamaica in Kingston for Carnival there in Kingston.
And you could bring a cooler to that party. So even though all inclusive, you could bring your cooler to it and bring your own cooler with your own drinks. You pick a spot, you park up. I want to be as close to the stage as possible.
Yeah.
And you just stay by your cooler and you just drink to your heart's content. But remember to drink water.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you guys are live on now, I can't see the Facebook group at the moment for the people in the Facebook group, but if you are live in the Zoom, please feel free to type any questions you have in the chat as we get ready to wrap this up. There's already a question from Mary Beth. What do you do if you can't last the entire parade route? That is a great question because I know you know.
So I'm going to jump in and you guys can come in behind me if you like. We had some ladies that consumed too much alcohol and felt like they could not make it. And we kind of put this little message out that no one is allowed to jump out, if you will. Because in Barbados, we're actually going through neighborhoods. And although I know Barbados, during the time that we are on the road, there's literally like roads that are blocked off. So you would actually have to get from underneath the ropes, walk miles through a neighborhood or an area in order to get to any type of taxis and things like that. One of the things that I love, especially with Crave, is that they offer a VIP truck. So if you do get tired, you're able, for an additional cost that you would pay for prior to the actual event, you're able to go on the truck and you can sit down or you can stand up and not do anything.
How long of the day are we talking about?
Woo!
Oh my goodness, all day and night, 12 hours at least.
Sounds like torture. No?
It's fun though.
We have ambassadors that come with us, and we split our groups into colored teams, and it becomes a competition. So we have a red team, blue team, orange team, pink team, and we have rules as to which team wins what competition, and it's all about camaraderie. So everybody helps each other within their team. So should somebody want to leave in places like Trinidad or Jamaica or Grenada, it's your team's captain to actually take you home.
So is it like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or is it like, you said 12 hours? Like what time do things normally start and then they go until? Because I thought there was some
it can start as early as 7 a.m. and just getting prepped and ready on the road, and then all the way to 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. sometimes.
And then you go back and you sleep, and then there's another party at 3 a.m.
No, not after mass.
Not after mass.
Not after the carnival day. You go home and you sleep. Right. Now, if you schedule the party for the next day, then that's something you schedule because there's some cruise events. You know, I know after Kadooment, there's a cruise event the next day, or even that night there's some parties. And if you are a party person that just can keep going, some people have brought tickets to go to events right after.
Wow. So I know,
last lap, baby. That's your last lap. You gotta be going back on the plane. You got time to sleep on the plane.
Claire, I
Hey.
think it's different for females though. So the guys, they literally can pop up at 7, 8 o'clock, put on their costume and be out. For females, there are females that start as early as 1 a.m. In the morning, getting their makeup. They would get their makeup done and they would actually go to sleep in their makeup or what have you to be able to pop up around 6, 7 o'clock, make it down to the stadium, if you will, because they want to be involved in the actual full process where you actually are judged by the judges, because there's also a competition that's involved as well in terms of who's the best band.
Right.
Wow. So now with COVID, I believe only one country had their carnival so far this year. Who was that?
Trinidad.
Trinidad
Yeah,
had before the shutdown.
And
But
so what?
Jamaica still technically has theirs on the schedule for October, which was, I'll say this candidly, and I do have friends with the different bands. It's a cash grab. They're just trying to hold on to the money and not have to do a refund, because almost all of the major fets have been canceled. So the only thing they really have are those bands on the road. And at some point, they've got to refund the money or try and claim that they can push it forward into 2021. But they're
That was
just
my question next. Is like, what have you guys been hearing about? I think everything at this point, for the most part, is going to be canceled for this year, at least through the unforeseeable future. So what do you think things look like for next year? Like, when is the first carnival and what do you guys think? Is it going to happen? I know there's rumors that I think Trinidad is not letting anyone come next year, which is going to impact.
I think, or only for CARICOM people, right?
there's two things. So right now it's in country only. It's a discussion of CARICOM. But then there's a bunch of things that they've even said everyone in CARICOM except Jamaica, because Jamaica was letting in Americans. So there's all types of different things that are being discussed, and nothing is truly set in stone right now. But if you got a blue passport only, don't anticipate that you're getting in unless there's a vaccine or some other major change. But if you got a Jamaican passport, you're a little bit better, but maybe not so much. If you've got the Eastern Caribbean passport, you got a chance. Still have a chance, but it's not a guarantee.
Danny, have you heard anything for Barbados? And then Carl next too. Have you heard anything?
So maybe about 3 weeks ago, maybe four weeks ago, Barbados was COVID free. They started doing repatriation flights out of New York, bringing Barbadians back home, and COVID started popping up again. They reactivated four flight routes with JetBlue from JFK, as well as American Airlines out of Miami, and they've canceled them all within the past 3 weeks, with the exception of one flight with JetBlue from JFK once a week, and that's on Saturday. I've been in close communication with them in terms of crop over. We've also tried to make reservations for crop over 2021, and particularly with our accommodation services, they aren't allowing anyone to secure accommodations because they just don't know. It's too early for them to make an informed decision. Now, you want to talk about what will be a complete mess? How people are so close. You saw how Carl's mouth was all open at Juve and stuff like that. It will be a melting pot for COVID.
What's a social distance wine?
Right, exactly. It's experience changes. And so I was so hurt as I've traveled to Barbados for 6 years for crop over to not attend this year. But at the beginning and end of the day, I think that Barbados made the right call. I pray next year that Carnival happens for a lot of destinations, because that is, tourism is one of their main sources of income. And so a lot of people have been greatly impacted. So, we will see. Right now, nothing has been said.
Yeah. And I know
Trinidad sorry, go ahead, Rasheed. I was just going to say Trinidad put in they put their protocol back to lockdown on Monday. So they're going backwards because of the increase in cases. And they still have a lot of people coming in illegally by boat from Venezuela. So
yeah, I know for Brazil that they their stance right now is no vaccine, no carnival. So
Wow.
that's what's happening. They already canceled the New Year celebration there too. So,
yeah, I know we're in the process of canceling our Brazil trip probably for next year, and we're like 6 months out. So it's been, COVID has just been crazy for all of us. So I do want to know, with COVID, we're all affiliated in the travel space, or were traveling when everything went down. I'd like to know if you guys can share what you're up to now and what your businesses are doing so that people can understand. And I want everyone to know who's on the webinar listening now or in the replay that we are sending out the recap with all the links and a summary of everything that was discussed next week. So you will get links to everyone, and they will get your email to connect with you after the replay. So Danny, if you can kick us off, if everyone on the panel can take 60 seconds or less to kind of talk about what you're doing next and share more about your business that you think you'd like to share to the audience.
Thank you. So when this thing came about, in terms of COVID, when I first heard about it, I was actually in South Africa at the top of the year, second week of February. Flew back and really started to understand that something really different was occurring. I know that there have been a lot of industries greatly impacted, but I truly believe that travel has been impacted the worst. We're talking about an $8 trillion industry, and you and I are a part of that. For us, versus pivoting, we took our time really coming up with ways to communicate more and engage with our clients. So we started this email series where we send out emails 3 times a week. We also activated a book club. I had no idea how many people wanted to read. So that's a thing. And then, we really wanted to look at how could we start providing virtual experiences. Since we can't travel, how about creating experiences from our home? And so we just launched that last week, and it's already a success. And so we're super excited about that in terms of offering virtual experiences. And so we reached out to a lot of our vendors around the world because, again, we understand that they're trying to stay afloat as well. So we have, requested for them to create these virtual experiences for us so they're still able to make some form of currency.
That's great.
Carl, you want to kick us off next? Talk a little bit more about what you're doing with Carnival Jumpers.
Well, my team has been working on strategy and marketing. The main goal is just to keep Carnival in the minds of our followers and our guests. One of our managers, who is titled as the community manager, has sent care packages to essential workers with certain things just to give them a little bit of nostalgic feeling about Carnival. We've created video reels of our past guests and their experience and sent it to them with loving letters that we miss them, and to, stay motivated, stay happy and cheerful that Carnival will come back one day. Just strategizing on how we're going to approach Carnival once it reopens, how we're going to safeguard our guests, letting them know, how COVID has affected us as a tourism company, but to also just stay in communication with a lot of our guests from time to time. Myself, my ambassador Mary, who's on the chat as well, chiming in. We reach out to the guests. We pick a guest and we just call them out of the blue. Hey, how are you? How are things going? We miss you. Send them a picture of them with us on the road and their experience, and they've said they loved it. My main job is I work as a hotel consultant. So and it ties together with my carnival business. So I speak to a lot of the tourism boards on a regular basis and just staying in touch with them as far as updates, their expectations, and how they see this moving forward, and keeping our guests as well afloat. You know, a lot of our trips, there's a WhatsApp chat for each one. So we go in and we talk to each person, and you know, those that are who haven't been to Carnival with us but are in the chats to learn. We make sure that we just stay connected.
I love it. I love it. Juve Mike, you want to tell us more about what you're up to?
Sure. I had been traveling the world. I had sold my real estate business last year, and I was volunteering all around the world. In Ecuador, in the Galapagos, in Amazon, building schools in Peru, and rebuilding houses from Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas, and then clearly got shut down. Coming back, I used to be a public school teacher, and also did some guest lectures on institutional racism, systems of oppression, educational gap in America, white privilege, and the school to prison pipeline. I am currently fostering abused pups and building out curriculum during this era of racial reckoning, and working with different entities, both, you know, for-profit businesses, schools, working on culturally relevant pedagogy. And now I've got some civic things like churches are asking to do sessions to basically, let's keep it real. I'm trying to do the heavy lifting and demonstrate what being an advocate looks like for white folks, and educating white folks in particular into the understanding of institutional racism, white privilege, whitewashing, microaggressions, gaslighting, a million different things. And then working on ways that we can have conversations between folks across racial understanding, and getting them to get it that this is just the tip of the iceberg and they need to go educate themselves. If they say they're going to be an ally and they say, well, one, you can't say you're going to be an ally. That's bullshit. You can't give yourself that title. But I get that it's the title of the organization to come in just to hit all of this and make sure that this is a movement and not a moment. And it's long overdue for so many entities. And usually it's the discussion with people who consider themselves progressive, that they are killing folks around them, the death by 1,000 paper cut type of thing with their actions and behaviors on a daily basis. And I will be the first to tell you, I understand, but my presentations are, I have to be aware of my bias in patriarchy and privilege. And we're going from that direction and going, yo, let's have the real talks. So we go from there. And that's what's going on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rasheed, you up next. You want to talk about what's next for you?
Oh, hey, what's good, guys? So, yeah, what's next for me? You know, right now, up in the air life is, we're kind of slowing down a little bit. Not slowing down, but no trips on the docket for this year. We're chilling, but yeah, I still have to manage my real estate portfolio, so I'm still working on that. Got my son here in Playa del Carmen, so things are going good, and I'm launching my podcast next week, and also apparel, and also fly masks that are dropping next week as well. So just be on the lookout for that.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. So I want to wrap this up. Thank you all for participating in this webinar and in the
Thank you for having us.
Yes, this was such a great conversation. I can't wait to share the replay as well. I want to know, in the spirit of Let's Dream Again, if you can have any vacation and you didn't have to pay for it, what would it be? And we'll go back to Danny once again. Kick it off.
That's really hard for me, because I truly believe that anywhere I have ever wanted to go, I've gone. But if I could choose one place right now, at this very moment, I would say Barbados.
Wow. Okay.
I would say Barbados, hand over fist. If I could just be there at this exact moment, I would be so at peace.
It looks like you're there. I thought you were there with the background. You got that blue.
Listen, these are Asian colors,
That
right?
blue and yellow.
I got the trident and everything.
Damn.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah, you for real. Okay, you got the trident?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say Barbados.
Barbados. What about you, Carl? What would be
Oh.
experience? No holds barred.
Take me to Grenada and put Job Job on my tombstone. That's it. Just leave me there at Job Job on the floor, pour some oil on me, and just call it a day. You know, that's where I would go if I didn't have to pay for it and it was just an experience. Put Job Job on my tombstone. That's where I would be, right in Grenada.
Mike?
You said experience. You didn't say single destination. So.
Oh, yeah. Like, so it's supposed to be like any type of vacation experience that you would want. Like, for me, it would definitely be, I would have a jet chartered with all my friends, and we would probably hop around the different islands like Madagascar that I've never been to, and all the other ones around the whole continent of Africa. Like, that would be like my dream trip, and to stay at like bungalows and 5-star hotels.
Okay. So I'm going to put two things together in terms of, I had cast a vision way back when. I had this thought because in Atlanta, you got Georgia Tech, and they've got a whole prosthetics division at Georgia Tech doing engineering and how to do prosthesis. I had way back in the day envisioned having a boat that we could go island to island as a nonprofit and provide prosthetics to each island for people in need. And while you just need a boat to carry the materials and get it from place to place, you can have different doctors fly in at different islands to be part of their volunteer work. But I would combine that with doing circumnavigate the world and hitting all of the down places that I had on my list for this year, since I love exploring stuff low budget and with locals and giving back. If I could bring in those prosthetics and do some of that work in different locations around the world while getting to hit the coast anywhere is therapeutic. I wouldn't consider it drug smuggling, but I would like to try the cannabis in all the different locations to see how different or similar it is. You know, it's therapeutic in between, so all the treatments. So yeah, I would go with that type of an experience, because I know that we could hit Polynesian islands. We get to go, I want to see New Zealand, and as we continue around, get to experience both the East Coast and the West Coast of Africa before coming down and doing the same thing in South America. So I'm good on anything in North America. I really am completely over it. And so take me everywhere else, circumnavigate the world, and give back along the way. Kind of gives you extra fuel to keep going. Plus, they give you better food when you're really nice to folks and look out for them. You're muted, Claire. Can't hear you, girl.
You want to bring it home?
You know what? To be honest, I'm happy right here in Mexico, man. I got everything right here. It's, I mean, every you
That's
know.
the guy who's been who will travel probably next week.
I'm actually, yeah. I mean, I'm going to California. You know, I'm going to Cali tomorrow. I gotta handle business.
Told you.
I'm handling business, but you know, I'll be back on Wednesday. But there's nowhere really I'd rather be than here. Everything it has everything I need here, and you know, I come to realize that really after, you know, I've been in 93 countries, you know, traveling so much. So when I come back here, I got everything is just so laid out, and I got everything I need: the spa, the beach, everything's just walking distance. My fam here. There's really nowhere I need. That's being able to sit down since March. I mean, I realized that, but now it's even like better because like I got everything here. I don't have to go anywhere really. So
What? I have to admit, I'm going stir crazy at this point. It is now August, and I've been in Mexico, gosh, going on 9 months now. This is the longest I've ever been in one place, probably in a decade. I just left a hotel that I was at for a week, contemplating living there because I'm just going mad staying in one place. I've resorted to going to a hotel once a month. So I'm traveling now to Cancun. Me and Rasheed are making plans to go to like travel with Mexico. We're going to Chiapas, going to Mazatlan. We're going to Los Cabos. We're kind of staying in Mexico though. But
we need to do Tulum late September when I come down. I still haven't been down to Tulum. And
I don't know about Tulum.
Really?
The people in Tulum, they believe COVID doesn't exist. When I go there, it's like being in a twilight zone. I'm just like, it just kind of like is weird, but that's a whole nother topic. But when I go to Tulum, I meet so many people that tell me that they don't believe COVID is real. So it's just like a twilight zone.
Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. But anyways, I'll be down there late September, so that's for sure.
So thank you all for joining. We really appreciate you. We will send you guys the replay as well as all the links and the summaries. And we will have a new schedule that'll probably launch sometime in October through December to highlight all the different destinations we go to. It will be having guests as well as partners. So I'm super excited to have the full schedule along with the full trip launch for 2021, which I think will be exciting once we get to a point of seeing a future of travel and really like understanding like what life is going to be like with travel. Because I think the reality is that as we plan for our future travel is that COVID's not going anywhere. So it's going to be a lot of learning about how do we conduct ourselves in these different destinations, how do we travel safely. And one thing we've been thinking about is that Up in Your Life is like, how do we do that? Like I've already started looking at custom airplane chair covers because our clients are going to want masks, you're going to want chair covers, you're going to need possibly gloves. So there's a lot more things to think about. We still can do what we love doing, but we're just going to do it a lot differently. So we look forward to it. Thank you guys and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Safe travels.
Yeah.